On this channel, $1 Million Made Easy, we love to run numbers for people. And recently I had a video about Dave Ramsey's 8% withdrawal rule once you reach retirement. And I've got quite a bit of feedback from that. So I want to clarify a little bit more because of some of the questions that were raised. Well, Dave Ramsey said that if you have a $1 million portfolio, stock market average is 11%, you can withdraw 8% of that and never run out of money. Because if you're getting 11%, you're only taking out 8%, that leaves 3%, so he allows for a 3% COLA. So I'm going to do this, withdraw $6,500 a month on a portfolio of $1 million. That'd be a 7.8%, just under the 8% that he's talking about. Going to increase that by 3% a year going down through here. And you can see with 11% return year after year after year, you're never going to run out of money. In fact, it's going to grow. This is a summary box right here. But the thing he hasn't taken into account is the stock market doesn't go in a straight line. Let me show you what happens if we actually go with actual returns. Again, it's not 11% every year. It may average 11%. In fact, let me show you what this is in 1924 numbers. 1924 numbers, I want you to notice the averages. 10-year average, 11.82. 20-year average, 10.94. 30-year average, 12.34. And yet, given this scenario, because we had these down years right here, that yes, you averaged 12.34, but you were actually running out of money in 24 years if you use the 1924 numbers. You can go down through here and you see you actually do run out of money right there. You can see the red right there. But what's going on there? Dave's not taking into account sequence of return risk. And I watch a financial channel called the Money Guy, and he's responding to Dave's numbers and how you have to take into account sequence of return risk. Let me share with what he said.
There, because you're going to need to cut your expenses down, because there is a withdrawal rate of 8% is unrealistic. A lot of time, in financial planning, here's a term that I would encourage anybody who thinks they're going to do 8%. Go out there and research what sequence of return risk is because unfortunately, I love that the S&P 500 does get close to 11% historically. But the fact that is missed there is that it's not in these nice little prepackaged 11% annual boxes. You will have years that you'll make 23, 24%. You'll have years that you lose 12%. You'll have years that you make 8%. It is all over the place. Hence why we diversify. Hence why we plan for the long term. This type of strategy, doing 100% equity, assuming an 8% safe withdrawal rate, is very, very dangerous for retirees.
So as you heard the Money Guy explaining this, these are the kind of returns that happened over the last 100 years. They don't go in a straight line. You can be up 27, up 11, you can be down 24, down 43. More recently, let's go to the year 2000 or around 2000, and we'll see this same kind of situation where the numbers don't stay the same. Look at this. The 1990s were really good, up 37, up 22. Then you hit the 3 down years, hit the dot-com bubble, and then you hit the real estate crash. And if you look at the actual year 2000 numbers, this is what sequence of return risk means. If those initial years are down years, especially consecutively, then you're probably going to have an issue in running out of money, especially if you do an 8%, or in this case 7.8%. The market's going down, plus you're taking this money out of it when it's going down. It knocks it down even farther, and eventually you just plain run out of money. Where somebody said, well, don't do the 3% COLA. Well, first of all, is that financial planning if you don't plan for some inflation? But let's go ahead and click on this. You're going to notice that the money's going to last a little bit longer because you're not taking out, you're staying at $6,500 a month or $78,000 a year. But look what happens. It didn't make a whole lot of difference. You're staying at 78,000. Why? Because you got these down years and you're taking money out. That's why people go with an asset allocation of maybe 70% stay in the S&P 500 and 30% go in their cash reserve accounts. When the market's going down, the 78,000 is coming out of the cash reserve, not out of the S&P 500, because that knocks it down even farther. But let's see what a 70-30 split does as far as how long the money lasts. Didn't go a whole lot better. How about a 50-50? Okay, 70-30. See, it's still running out of money. Because if you have anything at all in the S&P 500, well, first of all, what's really going on here, if you really want to look at the numbers, you're taking out 7.8%, and you're only getting 3 or 4% on the cashier. If I could say that, change this to 4% or whatever percentage you want, but unless it's close to 7.8%, you're going to run out of money no matter what, because the market's going down, and the cash reserve account can't keep up with a 7.8% withdrawal rate. Well, that's what somebody asked me to run. Well, run it without the cola. Well, first of all, would you really want to do that? Would you really want to just stay with when you go to retire, you plan on 6,500 a month and never going up when your expenses are going up year after year? But another thing people say, well, uh, don't do it on their beginning balance, do it on the remaining balance. So let's go ahead and do it on the remaining balance. I'm going to go back to just looking at the stock market. I said do it on the remaining balance. In other words, you don't stay with the 6,500 with a 3% cola, but that's what Dave Ramsey was saying. You could do it, take out 8% because you're getting 11%, but you really aren't. On average, yes, but not uh, each individual year. But look what happens if we do remaining balance. 8% remaining balance. Start out with 6,500. The market's going down. This $1 million is now down at 831. So you take 8% of that, which is 5540 a month, which is 66,000. Well, you were planning on 78,000. Now it goes down again. Now your balance is down to 665. Now you can only take out 53,000. It goes down one more. You're down 22%. All of a sudden, you're down to 465,000, and you can only withdraw 37,000 a year, which should be 3,100 a month. You're planning in retirement of getting 6,500, going up by 3% a year. Now you can have less after 3 years of a down market. That's that sequence of returns risk. After 3 years of a down market, you can only take out $37,000 a year, and you were planning on 78,000. That's why it's so dangerous to just go with a flat 8%. Most people recommend going back down the 4% rule. It's worked over and over and over again. But I wanted to run the numbers because I keep getting responses to another video I made, which I'll link to, explaining this even in more detail. And they said, well, just take away the cola. And I thought, do you really want to take away the cola? So that's what I did. They said, well, you need to do it 8% of the remaining balance. So that's what this one's doing. But no matter how you cut it, if I go back to just doing no cola, 8% of the original balance, you still run out of money. You're staying at 78,000 and you run out of money if we have returns like the year 2000. Is that always the case? No. Lots of times you're going to be in just great shape. You're going to have no problem at all. Some of these other years, these are the numbers right there, summary box. Look at this. Numbers were like 1993, and these down years didn't hit till later in your retirement. You'd be just fine. But the closer these numbers get to when you retire, is when you have a problem. But look at these other numbers. Look at these numbers. I mean, just plain incredible, because the 80s and the 90s were such good numbers. But if we go back to like 73 and 74, that gets a little bit iffy. Let me see what 73 and 74. No, it looks like you're okay. Looks like you got 2 down years. It's usually when you have 3 or more down years, what's only happened a couple times in the last decade. You have 4 down years in the 1930s, 3 down years from 1939 to 1941, and then these 3 right here. And it didn't help any to have down 37%. But I just want to, again, go back to the Dave Ramsey 8% rule. Everybody you listen to that knows anything about sequence of return risk says you can't take out 8% and be guaranteed that your money won't run out. You've got to stick closer to the 4% rule. But that's what we do on this channel. We run numbers for people. But the fact that this keeps coming up, the Dave Ramsey 8% withdrawal rule, that's why I need to keep covering and clarifying what we mean by that, and clarifying just the danger of this sequence of return risk. As you said, heard the money guy say, it's just plain dangerous. But this is what we do on this channel. We run numbers for people. If you want me to run numbers for you, just put it in the comment section, your beginning balance, your amount you want to withdraw, the COLA, and we'll run it. And if you're in the accumulation stage, your monthly contribution, and we'll go ahead and run it. And it's best if we have at least 30 or more years. Then you're just going to see amazing numbers. Please consider subscribing to this channel. Share this channel. Let other people know there's a channel out there that will run numbers for them. And please like the video, and thanks for watching.